There's a new viral video that's showing a restaurant owner going off on this long rant about some customers that are twerking in his restaurant.
I invested a lot of money into buying this building, into developing this concept so black people can have somewhere nice to go to, okay? Somewhere where we can feel good about ourselves as a... Come on! Stop the music, please! Somewhere where our people can feel good about ourselves as a culture, okay? Yeah. No, real talk. And so all this twerking and take it to Prime, take it to Pink, don't bring it here because we're a restaurant. And so beyond that, 75% of my customers are ladies. And I want men to show respect for themselves for how they carry themselves here. So how can I tell the men to respect themselves and you guys are twerking on glass here? If you want to do it, get the out my restaurant. Because I did it for our people and I did it for our culture. So don't do it now. Don't do it again. I don't want to hear it. If you don't like it, get out because I don't need your money. I need to provide something for my people. And don't do it again. Thank you.
Okay, you probably saw in the beginning of that clip where they were playing some music, some type of rap music, and there's like a party in there or something. And generally speaking, I agree with the owner that the restaurant should be a respectful place. But I find it interesting in this particular situation because he specifically is saying, I want this to be a nice place for black people to dine in and do all of these things. And it's where I kind of separate a little bit here, because a lot of the problem that faces the black community is the black community's problem. And when you look at this video, there's this kind of interesting thing where you have this guy that's saying, well, I want this to be a nice place, but the people that I'm attracting, obviously pretty much 100% black people, are being disrespectful. They're twerking. They're having a party in here. And it kind of goes back to that old statement. This is why we can't have nice things. The problem is that the black community in general, from what we've seen over this year in 2020, is that they don't want to admit any type of or take any blame for anything that goes on. When they're at fault, when they ruin their own stuff, they want to put the blame on someone else. But this guy correctly does call that out. What's interesting, though, is that I don't feel like he would be saying that same thing in a BLM situation. I don't think he'd be making that same claim, most likely. I mean, I don't know this guy, but there's a good chance that he probably wouldn't be making that same statement if it was a criminal getting shot by the police. All of a sudden, that wasn't the criminal's fault, but now in this situation where they're basically disrespecting his restaurant, acting a fool, where they, who else can they blame but themselves? They can't have nice things because they don't respect anything. And it just goes back to the way things have always been. And as a black person, of course, I don't relate to these types of people because I didn't grow up that way. I wasn't raised that way. But oftentimes you see that everything that a bunch of these black people get involved in, whether it's a 90% black neighborhood or a 90% black business or whatever it is, that oftentimes they wind up just ruining it. All because they can't take any personal accountability for anything. And it always upsets me when you see this happen, because the fact is that if he wanted to have a nicer restaurant, he could easily do that. Number one, you probably shouldn't be pandering or trying to attract one type of customer, because those customers clearly don't care about what you're trying to do. They don't care about how nice things are. If that restaurant was redesigned and turned into a nice restaurant and upscaled and wasn't playing rap music all day, there's a very good chance that the people that he would attract wouldn't be black anyways. But it is interesting that you see this dynamic and you see him ranting and calling for the personal accountability of the people, of just understanding what respect is, understanding how to actually sit in a restaurant and behave. Things that most people are taught as children. It's honestly sad to see that this is even the case as it is. I am glad that he's calling it out, but the fact is that it's also a little bit of his own fault too, for playing the rap music, for attracting people to this restaurant that he knows are not the best kinds of clientele. And yet we hear and have heard recently from Yelp and other places that we're just going to focus on black businesses. Black owned businesses need to be lifted up, even though, of course, during the coronavirus, we'll shut them down in 2 seconds because of the lockdowns. Then they don't really seem to care at all. But you've seen this on Uber. I was logging into my Uber app a few weeks ago, and I'm just looking for some restaurants to get food from. And the first thing I see is you can purchase food from black owned and Hispanic owned businesses, as if that matters. Of course, I would only care about the food. I don't understand why anything else about the owner's race makes any sense whatsoever. But you see them putting this big focus on black owned businesses. Like, we need to lift these up. Look, black people don't even respect their own businesses. They don't. We're seeing that right here. This is just a viral video, sure. But I've seen this in so many other places where you get all these black people in here, you get all black coworkers and employees and clientele, and then watch as the business just degrades. All because everybody's focused more on the color of your skin than your ability to be a competent worker, than your ability to actually respect an establishment. The thing is that when in large numbers, I think these black people oftentimes think we can do whatever we want. The owner's black, he's not going to say anything against us. We're all in this together, right? We're all of the same race, so we're just going to go ahead and twerk on the table and have a grand old party like it's a club. And the good thing is that the guy did kick them out of the restaurant. But it's just interesting to me that you have this situation where he's kind of echoing the clip from 2013 Don Lemon, where he basically calls on the black community to take some personal accountability for their actions, for the things that they've done. Pull up your pants. Take care of your communities. It's this kind of sentiment that this guy is kind of echoing here. And it's just common sense. But we live in a day and age where you can't say that to them. And if the owner was white, that guy's entire business would be done. Because you can't say anything against a black person whatsoever. So it's an interesting clip, but I think the most important takeaway from all of this is that why would the left want us to promote black businesses, as if that really matters at all, when even black people don't respect their own businesses? It's almost like when you get a bunch of just bad or crappy people together in one place, that they're going to, I don't know, act crappy. It shouldn't be anything new to anyone, to be honest with you. That's just the way the world works. But if they don't care, then I don't care. And it's a good thing to at least see this owner stepping up and saying something about it. But at the end of the day, I hope it's a wake-up call for people to understand that just because you're of the same race or whatever it is, that doesn't give you a license to treat everyone in there or treat a business any which way that you see fit. That doesn't give you the rights to do that. There are rules. You should act with respect. It doesn't matter who owns the place. It doesn't matter what the skin color is. Treat businesses with respect. Act as a respectful human being. Like, have some common sense and sit straight and act right. It's pretty straightforward. So, interesting video for sure. I had to kind of cover this one outside of the show just because it was kind of going viral and everyone was talking about it. So if you like the video, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the channel here. I also have a Subscribe Star, a Patreon, and I'm on Locals as well. Whichever one you prefer, you'll be able to directly support and donate to the channel also. So I thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one. You just watched a clip from The William Hall Show. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe.